The Blades Ramble are proudly supported by our main channel sponsor, My Business Group, a group of brands designed to support owners, leaders and managers in business. We would not be where we are without the incredible support of John and the team. If you're looking to grow your business, contact mybusinessgroup.co.uk today for more information or follow the link in the description below. And as this is 90 after 90, I want to thank our sponsors, Cosmetic Repair Solutions, an independent award-winning network of vehicle accident repair centres located in Chesterfield, Rotherham, Dinnington, Barnsley and Derby. Visit the website to find out more or get an estimate at cosmeticrepair.co.uk.
Blades fans, subscribe to Blades Ramble. Up the Blades.
What is happening, Blades, and welcome back to the Blades Ramble. I am, of course, Jimmy, and this is 90 after 90. Up to 90 minutes of chat after the 90 minutes that we've all just witnessed, or the majority of us will have done. Normally, especially with home games, I get a little bit of time between to gather my thoughts a little bit. I get to listen to Wilder. I get to have a look at the chat, particularly the Platinum chat, which is always flying around after, you know, a win or a loss or any United game. It's full of chat, and I get to canvass people's opinions, and I let that sort of not steer my own, but it helps me formulate the general feeling. And I haven't looked an awful lot at the chat tonight. I've listened to Wilder on way home. And I've tried not to think about football while I've been having my tea. It's just, I'm furious. Look, there's sometimes you have to hold your hands up and say, you know, we played really well, but we just got beaten by a better team. Or sometimes you have to say, well, we were okay, but they were slightly better, or whatever you want to say about it. You can always soften the blow somehow. But we've never been about that yet. I do try and look at the positives. I'll never try and spin you, but I do try and look at the positives where I can. But it'll always be overridden by honesty. And I cannot for the life of me at the moment, and this may change, and it may even change during the show, because speaking to others, not only on the calls, but also listening to some of the comments, does, you know, not even turn me around, but it's a form of catharsis in terms of just getting some frustration off your chest. And I am so frustrated tonight. I am so frustrated because I mean, my situation might be slightly different because I were absolutely buzzing for the game today. My girls were coming with me for the first time. Well, I tell a lie, they have been before. I forced them to come with me at one stage when they were 6. Didn't force them, but I told them they were going, told them they would have a great time, sort of built them all up for it. Ironically, it was against Derby that, and we won 1-0. It was a Billy Sharp penalty late on. There were 6, I think, but they weren't interested at all. They were on their iPads before kick-off. This time, this is the first time they've come with me where they asked to come, because the grandpa's on holiday in Texas, Auntie Sally's on holiday in Texas. Can they have their tickets and come with me? So I went to the ticket office, sorted it out. Yes, they can. Brilliant. So they were buzzing for the game. And to be fair, they've enjoyed the whole experience. One more than the other. I think I've probably got one convert of 2, but I'll take that all day long. Sophie, I think, is going to be the blade. She's talking all through the game. Why? That's a foul. Why ain't he taking? Why ain't he shooting there? Why? She said to me at one point, the manager before this has made us really bad, hasn't he? She's clearly overheard me saying that at some stage, but I love the fact that she's taking it all in. Emily was not really paying attention to the game, to be fair, but was, because she's such a lovely soul, was humouring her daddy by saying, "Oh, I'm really enjoying it, Daddy, really enjoying it." But she didn't know what we're going off, to be fair, I don't think. So she's gone because she wants to try and make me happy, because she thinks it'd make me happy, but that's the kind of kid she is. So I think I've got one convert. So that is the best part of my day, really. Going with my girls, and it meant that. And I'm just sorry, I know I'm going off on a tangent, but it's just. I went to Triple Point as I always do. We got to Triple Point Celine Bar, but we had to leave early because Sophie had left a ticket in the car because they wanted the responsibility of holding their own ticket. I'll look after my ticket, Daddy. I'll look after it. She'd left it in the car. We had to go back to the car. She left a coat at home. That's partly my fault because obviously I'm supposed to be checking they've got all the stuff with them. But so we ended up going at Club Shop and buying her a Sheffield United coat, didn't we? So she were buzzing with that. I'm out of pocket. And yeah, that's how it goes. But yeah, it's been a great day with those two. But asking me purely about their performance on the pitch, I am absolutely irate about it. And, you know, we've played worse this season. We've played worse than that. Certainly under Ruben Sayers, we've played worse. It's probably one of the poorer performances under Wilder. Derby County are a good side. I like them as a club. But they're not expected to pull up any trees in the league this year. We were expected to. We're certainly no longer expected to. And I think Wilder is clearly wed to this 4-2-3-1. I'm loath to criticise him, and I know that won't surprise anybody. I don't think he is immune from criticism, and I certainly when he put Danny Ings in the 10 and Tom Cannon up as the lone striker and all these little tweaks that he did in the previous game, I think it's well up for scrutiny. I think you've got to question him in terms of why is he not just going to up top or whatever it might be. I think today, I'm pretty sure Tyrese Campbell dropped back into the 10. Certainly at stages he did. Whether he officially went to up top later on with Ings and Campbell, I'm not entirely sure, but there was some strange Matos to right back, McGuinness coming off. Look, I could go through the team because, and let's do that with a few players. We might end up doing everybody, but Michael Cooper's a big talking point at the minute in Sheffield United fan base, and it's a sore one for me because I was banging the drum about Michael Cooper I can't remember a time I wasn't banging the drum about bringing him in all honesty. As soon as we started talking about transfers on the channel, he was one that I highlighted. Dave Morwood was quick to jump on that as well. At similar time, not that he followed me because he lives down there, knows what a player he is from his time at Plymouth. Action location, we're always very keen on Michael. And all justified and rightly so, in my opinion. I think we saw last season what a goalkeeper we were getting, but Dave the Nose rightly said on 3 Mardy Blades last week, if we'd have signed him this summer, then we'd be thinking, what the hell have we signed? And I don't think it's been as bad as that. I think we're holding him to Michael Cooper standards. But today, for example, I mean, what's he done? I think there's been one save that he's made. I can't blindly defend him just because I really like him as a player. You've got to. Everybody is playing beneath their levels. I think the only player that can hold the head high, is Callum O'Hare, and I don't even think he was brilliant. I know he scored and he was always very lively, but I still think he were under the level that we've seen from him recently as well. Sam McCallum did okay. Sidney Peck. I mean, just before we finish on Cooper, there's 3 things that I'm interested in about Cooper, or I'm concerned about, should I say. I've mentioned it before. We've got a Platinum Rambler at Mogger who's a bit of a fitness guru, and he's worked with some of the Sheffield United players on an individual, like personal trainer basis. He's looked at Cooper from the outside. I don't think he works with him directly, but he thinks he's put on too much muscle mass, so he's not as agile, or his reflexes aren't quite there as they were. And he's not suggesting that's the whole reason he's been poor, but that's just one element of it that I don't think everybody will have picked up on. And since he's mentioned it, I've sort of seen that he looks a little bit bigger. Maybe that's just my perception, having that in my head. The other thing about Cooper is, I've, for some time, and I've spoken about this on the channel, heard that he's been dealing with a knee issue. We know he's got a history of problems there. There was some concern that he might have to be operated on, and obviously there's been no operation. He's just continued to play. Well, I found out from two separate people today, this week, sorry, that he may have, and this is just, again, I'm not saying he definitely has. I'm just passing on information that I've had. He may have tendonitis in his knee, which, from what I understand, is incurable. And it's just something he has to manage, and it's like rest and recovery to try and manage it, which again will affect his game. Whether that's true or not, as I say, I don't know. But we're speculating, aren't we? Because everything's so closed up, which it should be. We're still trying to scramble around thinking of excuses. And the third thing I'm worried about, Michael Cooper, so there's too much muscle mass, this potential knee problem, and there is also the overriding one, which is affecting the entire team, but confidence. He is not mentally the same player that he once was. Last season, I always fancied him against a penalty taker. I had no confidence today. And that's not that I've got no confidence in him as a player, but I had no confidence in him saving a penalty today. And he didn't. And, it's always odds are against the keeper. I understand all of that, but I usually fancy him, and I didn't. I thought Mark McGuinness were really poor today. He got taken off, which is surprising when a centre-half gets taken off. You can argue that it was so that we had a more agile right back, and he prefers Tanganga as a player to McGuinness, which is understandable. And he moved Tanganga into the middle. I thought Tanganga were quite poor at times. Sidipek, I think, needs a rest. A lot of people are saying it, and I haven't seen it as strongly as I have today. Obviously, he was at fault for the second goal, but there's no or very little progressive play from City. It's all very safe, and when he does get the sort of inspiration to try and get forward a little bit, he can't hold on to the ball. He can't retain possession. And for all that City gives, I understand why Wilder loves him. I understand it completely. He's a Sheffield United player in so much as he will give you everything. He's a passionate player, which is what a lot of us like to see. But I don't know if the technical ability on a consistent high level is there. I'm not saying he won't go on to be a really good player, because I really like him as a player. But we've relied on him an awful lot. So I think, if Tom Davies is able to come in, then maybe it's him and Samari or him and Gyro. Tom Davies and them is what I'm meaning. So I'm not saying Wilder will do that. I'm just saying I think City would benefit from that. Again, I thought some of Samari's decision making today was poor. I think in possession he didn't always look after the ball very well, but at least he's trying to go forward and progress the play. Benny today, I'm not sold on Benny at all. Look, and again, I want to reiterate, none of this is personal. None of this is ever personal. And if you took them as people, Benny would be one of the first people you want to keep, because from all his interviews and finding out a little bit about his background, you just will him to do well. You want him to do well because he's such a lovely guy and certainly comes across as such. But he does not look like he's got any idea what's going off on that right-hand side. He loses possession so easily. He runs into dead ends. There were one decent cross for Ty Campbell, which Campbell should hit the target, to be fair, but he doesn't. Benny for me, I mean, there's a lot that needs changing in January, and I think this result has pushed me more towards doing and we've done it before, like a fixing Sheffield United video. Like, we need to do a ramble on what extensive changes need to happen at Bramall Lane to get us anywhere near back on track, because we've got to surely, look, I know there's positive blades out there, and I admire you all, and I love you all as much as I love the negative ones and being comfortable in giving their unpopular opinions at times. But I'll be amazed if anybody tonight is saying we can still make playoffs. We can definitely still do it. I'm really confident we can make the playoffs. Because I don't know where your confidence is coming from. I know that, historically these players have been of a standard to make the playoffs. Absolutely they have. We look so far off it currently. So far off it. Andre Brooks showed again why he's such an a frustrating player for us. He's one of our own. We want him to do well. He'll get more time from us because he's one of our own. But again, inconsistent because he was largely anonymous today. Tyrese Campbell, again, after a really strong first 45 minutes against Preston. I don't think anybody's seen him since, have they? I'm not entirely sure. Some things I thought were really telling today as well, which we'll get into. Tom Cannon, not in the squad. That was my decision, said Wilder afterwards. I wanted to see Ryan O'Neill and involve him in the squad. That's Cannon done, isn't it? That's Cannon done now. He's got, what, 8 weeks? I'll be amazed. It's going to take an injury crisis. He's been bumped down to 4th choice striker and we play with one up front. And Louis Barry. Louis Barry has been bombed out and he's also 4th choice. Because if you classed Ryan O'Neill as a player that can play either up front or out on the left, then Louis Barry's now 4th choice out on the left. Because you've got Gus Hamer when he's fit. You've got Andre Brooks, who will push Gus Hamer, hopefully. Then you've got Ryan O'Neill, who can step in on that left-hand side. And Louis Barry doesn't even make the squad today. Not a fitness issue, just didn't make the squad. So that's Barry done, isn't it, as well? That's Barry done. There's loads to get into. I don't want anybody to necessarily change my mind. I'm not saying please help me out, make me a bit more positive. Just I want to know how you're feeling. That is my main thing tonight. How is everybody? Because is that the season done for Sheffield United? Is that, people will say we're in a relegation fight, and technically we are. And you've got to respect the league, but I do genuinely believe, and I don't mean this to come across as arrogant because we've certainly no right to be at this stage, but I genuinely believe we'll be okay. In terms, I don't think we'll get relegated. But does this sort of seal off any hopes of a turnaround? Because we're 14 games in now, 13, 14 games in. And we are we're not miles behind in terms of points, but we are miles off it. Miles off the pace. There needs to be there needs to be a full reset, I think, with some of these players. What's happened to Harrison Burrows? What's happened to him? Where's the Harrison Burrows of last season gone? And I know young players can be inconsistent, but he's a shadow of himself. And it gives none of us any pleasure in sort of saying that. And some of you may disagree, but that's my opinion. That's my opinion on Harrison Burrows. And I would love... We know he's got ability. We know he's got ability. As has Michael Cooper. As has Sidney Peck. We know we can trust these players to get to that level. It's just, will they do it? Will they be able to get back to those levels? Was Wilder having them play at 120% most weeks last season? Are they naturally settling where they are? Don't know, is the honest answer. Don't know. Anyway, we're gonna crack on because there's loads of comments coming in. I want to get to the first few comments and then we're going to go to we've got some patient callers waiting as well. But I want to say thank you so much to all the generous people that are donating super chats. It's certainly not expected, but I'm going to read your comments first because I really appreciate it. Nick Cook started us off tonight with the £20 super chat. The young ones like to say, "Let us cook." Ironic from Mr. Cook. I think we are cooking on a low in a slow cooker. It should be done by May next year. Ominous that. When you say, thank you, Nick, by the way, that's very, very kind of you. But when you say we'll be done by May next year, what do you mean? Is that like a two-pronged expression in terms of we could be done? Surely you don't think that, but I don't think we're going to be anywhere near, are we? Anywhere near playoffs. Chris Smith has just upgraded to a Rambler. Top man. Thank you, Chris. And he's also said, "Keep us going, Jimmy. Love the Ramble more than the games." Thank you, mate. Thank you. We'll get there. And look, I can't always promise to bring you positivity. I'll always try. But again, I'll be overridden by honesty, mate. So at the minute, I'm struggling to be optimistic. Not necessarily just positive, but more optimistic about where the season goes from here. because we've got a Coventry next, and we've got a watch along for Coventry. Oh my word! What what can we expect there? I know they've just been done by Wrexham, but we've just been stuffed by Derby. But thank you for the £10 super chat, Chris. Really appreciate it. Mr. Vancouver with a $50 super chat. Hi, Jimmy. Another disappointing game against a team we should be beating. Our defending needs a lot of improvement, and especially covering corners. On a positive note, you could reach the 10k subscribers during this video. Up the blades, up all the rambles, like and subscribe. Thank you, Mr. V. Incredibly generous as always. Yeah, we're 8 subscribers away. 8 subscribers away. I'm not going to like overly celebrate until we're like 10 deep into 10k, because there are funny people out there that like to subscribe to get us to 10 and then just a few will unsubscribe then, and then why is he doing a 10k celebration or whatever when it's not like. But yes, we are very close, Mr. V, and you have been a huge part of this channel ever since we've started going, really. I think you were around from around 200 subscribers or something we were talking about recently. Never before seen on camera. Can that change after a 10k? After 10k, does that, will we get a Mr. V face reveal for some? I'd love to get you on in some capacity if you're comfortable doing it, pal. But thank you so much for the ongoing continued support. I don't just mean financial, which is obviously very, very generous of you, but you message me regularly. You've been watching me long enough to spot when I'm down a little bit, and those messages don't go unnoticed. I really appreciate it. Also, becoming good pals with Andy the Blade. Your little texts between yourselves. I think he texts you more than me. So, yeah, thank you, Mr. V. Much appreciated, pal. In terms of what you were saying though, as well, teams we should be beating. I don't like that. I know what you're saying. I completely understand what you're saying, but we can't claim to be better than anybody in seasons gone by. Absolutely right. And if we're where we were this time last season, and Derby are where they were this time last season, then yes, we should be beating Derby. But they're above us in table. They're above us, and on merit. They beat us today on merit. There's no fight in this team. There's no desire to go and put your body on the line. There's no lung-busting run to get yourself on the end of something. There's no commitment. There doesn't feel like it to me anyway. It's not a Sheffield United team for me, a lot of these players. With the exception of Callum O'Hare. Callum O'Hare, it does put his all into the games week in, week out. But the rest can't honestly lay their head on the pillar and say they've given absolutely every drop of everything they've got. Because I don't think they are doing. I don't think they are. And I look at the players, first and foremost. You have to look at Wilder, which some people think I'm reluctant to do, but I think he can only do so much. You have to look at the coaching staff as well. I think that's been mentioned in the chat. What are the staff doing with them to prepare them for games during the week? How are we setting up as a team? How are we setting up to defend that corner? How are we? Why are men unmarked in the box? Why does it look like it's going in slow motion for a goal to be conceded against Sheffield United? It was so. Oh, anyway. Brett, the positive blade. Hope you're well, pal. Hope you're feeling all right. He was absent today from the game. I don't know if it was genuine illness or Jaeger related, but either way, I hope you are on the mend, pal, and starting to feel better. He says, taking the emotion out of it, we conceded silly goals and didn't take the chances we had. In that respect, we deserved to lose. But it's one game and it's 3 points lost. Still time to get this team sorted. Big improvements needed, though. Thank you, Brett. Really generous. £20 super chat. Thank you, mate. Still seeing an overall positive in the big picture, but can't really pull a lot from the game, and I think that's fair. Conceded silly goals, didn't take the chances we had, and we deserved to lose. Yeah, I think fair. Very fair from Brett in that respect. Right, let's get to the top, because I think starting to lose comments because we're getting so many in. Let's have a look. Right, I can only go from where these started, so apologies if anybody's messaged and I've missed them. But Neil says, evening, Jim, and all off to bed, can't watch anymore. This were at 4:10. This one at first messages to come in. Can't watch anymore. Hope I wake up in the morning and it's all been a bad dream. Shocking so far. Neil the tie blade. Sorry to hear that, pal. John says, you fill up my sensors like a fart in a space. That was awful. We want to be careful of relegation. We're not too good. Made Derby look good. David says, thank God in Rome. I'm in Rome and missed that disaster. Panic mode kicked in. We're in big trouble. You won't be the only one to think that, David. Just no one says, is a relegation reset what we need for the best for long term? I don't know. A relegation for us would be disaster, to be honest. Absolute disaster. I do think we need big revolutionary changes. I think in hindsight, like it's hard to say this and not appear hypocritical, but there is context to what we say, or what I'm saying here. Our transfer window was poor, but at the time of the transfer window, we were relieved, and it appeared to be, especially the statement Tanganga signing, it appeared to be saved at the end because we brought in a raft of championship players. Now, how many of this team get into that 2019 side that got promoted with Duffy in the 10 and Jack O'Connell, John Egan, Chris Basham at the back, Dean Henderson in goal, George Baldock and Ender Stevens either side, John Fleck, Ollie Norwood in the middle, and Billy Sharp and David McGoldrick up front. How many of this current side get into that side? Gus Hamer went fit, but you'd have to drop Mark Duffy then. And look, we had that debate previously, didn't we, on Three Mardy Blades, I think it was. I understand I went for the nostalgia, but Gus Hamer gets in that side probably. I'm not sure Tanganga would be our best defender now. I'm not sure Tanganga gets in. I'm not sure Tyrese Campbell, our best striker now, gets in. Well, he don't, does he? He don't, let's be honest. He don't get in over David McGoldrick or Billy Sharp. In centre midfield, does Arblaster give John Fleck a run for his money? Maybe. But other than that, and it shows how the mighty have fallen. We haven't continued that momentum and built on the side that we had. It's just so disappointing. Anyway, I will get some callers in a sec. I just want to try and get some sort of level on it. Yanks Port, Wilder Port and Players Port, full rebuild needed starting from the top. David says, when has a relegation reset ever worked? We need to just stay up this season. Yeah, I agree, David. Bryce says, finally sinking in that we are banging trouble, stinking the place out every week. Shocking. Dan says, not being able to watch the game. Can you sum up how the game went? Who did well? Bad, please, Jimmy. Win, lose, or draw? I think hopefully I've touched on it briefly, mate, and that's just my opinion. As the comments go on, I'm sure you'll piece that together as well. And as I say, I'll speak to some callers now as well who will hopefully put you in picture about that. But it's not been good, mate. It's not been good at all. J Remix says, team is cooked and increasingly in need of undoing and being built anew. Until then, we must accept that this relegation battle is real and it's deserved. Nothing we've seen suggests otherwise. Well said. Well said. Joe Atkinson says, can't understand people saying we might get top 6. Derby are a well-drilled side and do the basics. Everything we're not doing. Morris and their 7 bullied us all game. Yes, they did. Yeah, they did. We couldn't cope with them. We couldn't cope with them too. Beast Boy says, well deserved. Nothing from that. And every time they went forward, they looked like scoring. That Danny Ings was woeful. Left the stadium after that. Okay. Okay, mate. Dan says, wonder if the drop in performance of Peck, Hamer, Burrows, Cooper has ought to do with them having Prem interest in the summer. What do you think? I wouldn't have thought so. And if it does, it's going to put them off now, innit? It'll put the Prem teams off now. Would you be worried about losing anybody now? Would anybody? And I don't mean that in a, nanas to them all. But, if we lose Gus Hamer in January, which we might, why would he stay? Why would he stay when he's got 18 months left on his deal? The club will be looking at cashing in, no doubt. It's if we can sell him and get a decent return for him and bring in somebody like Chowdhury and a right back and maybe even someone on loan up front or something, because you've got to send all the loans back for me. You've got to send them all back. But I don't know, mate. I don't know. I don't think the interest in the summer has affected the current performance, though. That'd be a stretch for me. Alex says, trying not to be reactive, but that was a backwards, pathetic performance. Not acceptable. How many times did we get cut open? We're banging trouble. Huge January ahead. Didn't feel like a team today. Wilder needs full backing in Jan or we're going down. Offer a pint to calm down. Probably a bit reactive, but hard not to be angry after that. Alex, it's not, it's how we feel, mate. You care. Don't have to apologise to, for how you feel. This is how we all react, and we all react in different ways. Some will be a lot more level-headed. Some will be more positive than I am tonight, and I hope they are. And I don't mean to dampen that positivity, but we're venting, aren't we? Because we're frustrated. Smudge says that was as bad as Ipswich. This side isn't improving with time. This is now very worrying. We are going to be in a scrap to stay up. Helen says can't see where the next point comes from. Other than Callum O'Hare, players are either not good enough, not interested, or have the physical breaking point of a Kit Kat. Worrying times for the Blades. Joe Atkinson, interesting. Hang on. Got an interesting debate for you that I've noticed a bit recently. Do we have anyone in their prime? We have youth who can run, but inexperienced, and old lads with knowledge, but their legs have gone. Really good question. Really good question. Just briefly looking at it before I bring my first caller in, I would say go through the team. Michael Cooper's certainly not in his prime. Should probably be about to come into it, but he's certainly not, is he, at the moment? Go through that team today. Tanganga, no. McGuinness, no. Me, gone. Not gone as a player, but certainly past his peak. McCallum. If this is his prime, then is it the level that we'd need it to be? I'm not convinced. Sidney Peck, no. Samari, no. Why we're loaning? Why we're developing a young player on loan? I've no idea. Again, if he's a good enough addition for the 11, that's absolutely fine. No issue with that. I'm not convinced that we wouldn't be better served with a established player in there. Ogbenny, certainly not in his prime. Callum O'Hare, potentially with Callum O'Hare coming into his prime. I think he's the only one that, certainly in this current spell, doing really well. Andre Brooks, no. Tyrese Campbell, definitely not. So, yeah, I'd agree with that. I think that's probably pretty fair, Joe. Pretty fair, mate. Right, let's get to our first caller who's been waiting very patiently. I'm going to bring him on now. It is member of the card-carrying member of the 5PB. It's Lewis. How's it going, pal?
I don't know, mate.
I don't know. Are we testing the resilience of the 5PB here?
I would say so. I'm more an honest blade tonight.
One of the pillars of the 5PB going like this. Mate, come on, talk to me. How are you feeling?
I think that resultant performance is enough to test anyone, isn't it? I mean, all right, you can go behind. Morris has got across his man. Peck's lost him, I think. I think it's Peck that's lost him. There's four others in there that don't seem to be doing a great deal. He's got across everyone and scored. It can happen. I know it's going to be an uphill struggle at that point because they are used to sides tend to be pretty strong defensively. So if they get in front, you've got a problem, especially if they get in front at that stage and they're still leading at half time. The second goal is unforgivable. Just unforgivable, and the word I used, in my
family show.
Yeah. So the two in the middle, and I hold both of them responsible because Samare, it's like a hot potato. Just get rid of it. Just get it straight to Peck. No responsibility whatsoever. Now that might be lack of experience, lack of composure, probably both.
Yep.
But he just dumps it off into a crowd. Peck then panics and just looks blindly for the centre halves to knock it back. Morris, he can't believe his luck.
Yeah,
he can't believe his luck. The word I used at the time, I won't repeat on here.
Thank you.
Two of them, but just at that point, you know it's gone because against a side that with a manager that knows how to set teams up to defend, it's going to be hard work from there. Because even though the defenders are a little bit sluggish, they're just going to drop into a into a low block,
and they did.
And you're going to have an hard time. Yeah. It's individuals. I'm not saying Wilder hasn't got any responsibility. If he keeps picking certain players after this, who I think need to come out of the side now.
Name names then, mate. Name names. Who do you think should come out of the side?
Ty Campbell's not producing. He's one of my favourite players, but he's not producing. He's not adapting to the situation.
Do you not think we have to have not better players lined up? Because obviously they're classed as the best of the bunch, or they won't be in the 11. But do you think we've got comparable understudies, if you like? So with Ty Campbell, it's probably easier to say Danny Ings is established enough over time to say he gets a decent run in for the next 1, 2, 3 games or something instead of Ty Campbell. But other positions like I don't know. Well, sorry, I'll let you finish, mate, before I jump in. But I'm worried about the squad depth, really, in terms of who's better than what we've put out. Because a lot of people were happy with the team that came out today, and it's just the performance that seems to let you down week after week.
Yeah, and well, coming into the season without a big target up front, I know some people said, well, it was time for Kiefer Moore to go. The price was good, etc. But we didn't replace him. And for me to not have an option like that coming into the season was unforgivable. And every other week now we're screaming out for him. We were today when we went behind. Do you remember, when we had, and I hark back to Billy Sharp, which is an easy thing to do, iconic player. But do you remember when, all right, he's a poacher, his thing was getting into the box and being in the right position to pounce and to score. But when we were struggling, or when we were on the back foot a little bit, he had the intelligence and the guile and the know-how to drop a little bit deeper and come and get the ball, hold it up,
stick his backside out and go down, and then win a free kick. Really clever.
And that's leadership as well, and that's what we're lacking. We've got players that
bit of nous, bit of guile.
Yeah, they want to do the same thing. Ty is good at what he does. Generally but in a good side that's playing well, wants to do what he does. We've got other players in the team like that. Tanganga wants to be a centre back. He's not naturally a right back. I feel for him a little bit. Yeah, but adapt. We've got players in the side. Ogbene, I agree with you. Not adapting to the situation as well. Would be better in a side that's playing well. That again, maybe against a team that plays a little bit higher up the pitch as well. Yeah, we've just got players that aren't adapting to the situation, aren't stepping up, aren't showing any leadership, and working hard enough for the team, in my opinion. The question now is, does Wilder keep selecting some of these players? Because if he does, then, and I take the point about depth. Yes, we haven't got the depth, but I would look at Ty Campbell as one example. If you're not going to be able to adapt, then Danny Ings has to come in, an experienced player that's been there and done it, who, albeit might be what he's talked about being a stretch striker, somebody that wants to play a certain way. But I'm pretty sure with his experience and the type of player he is, he would adapt to the situation and try and just do some different things. We just need players to try and adapt at this moment in time when it's not working.
Do you think Ings would work as a one up top?
I mean, he's done it before. He's certainly better in a 2. He's certainly looked in his time more effective as a 2. He's definitely not effective as a 10. He needs to play up top.
We are the biggest Wilder fans going, but even we can't justify that, can we? So
no. I'd give it a whirl. I'd give it a whirl, Jimmy, because Ty is just not doing it. He is not doing it, and we can either keep going at that and keep watching it fall down, or we can try and do something different. I think we've got to. We desperately need Davis and Blaster and Gus back as fast as possible, just to inject some more senior pros into it and hopefully turn the corner a bit. Because at the moment, I want to be positive. I do, and there were positives to take. There were 1 or 2. Cal O'Hare again, brilliant, never stopped. His perseverance and his determination got us a goal. There's certain players I feel a little bit sorry for. That need a bit of help, but it's not good.
Before I let you go, mate, because I know this is a divisive player to discuss, but what's your thoughts on Sidney Peck Not just today, but what do you think needs to happen with City at the moment? Do you think he needs to come out? Do you think he needs a rest? Because obviously it weren't, like you said earlier, there were no excuse for certainly the second goal. You can hold him accountable for the first possibly as well. He's not at the level that he has been previously. And some would say, he hadn't had a break, he hadn't had a rest. We're relying on him too much, maybe. Not necessarily all his fault, but what do you do with City going forward, mate? I know you're a big fan.
I am. I think at the moment we don't have any options. I think when Blaster comes back, you've got an option at that point. I think that's the player that you could potentially replace him with. We don't know what condition Blaster's coming back in. Whether he needs a little bit of time to be drip fed into the team. We don't have a lot of options, as you say, at the moment. I mean, Samare, I'm sorry, I'm not sold. Matos, I know people were throwing their hands up in the air about the penalty. I think he goes down looking for a foul and the ball's run against him. I think it's just backfired. The decision is made. We haven't got a lot of options in there. I think Peck has to play at the moment, and I feel he's a victim of he needs some more experience around him. He's had one season as a senior pro, and he's not ready to lead.
Davis and Gyro too similar, do you think?
No, I think potentially if you could guarantee Davis's fitness, I think you could play the two
can't
together.
Do that, I'm afraid.
No, you can't. You can't. I think that's the thing. I think Tom Davis can play a bit further forward. I think he's best, and when he's fit, he's dynamic enough to do that.
Yeah,
and he's a good enough player to do it. But I've got no faith in his ability to play more than 2 or 3 games at most. So we've got problems. We've got serious problems. I do think we'll come out of it. I think it will get better, but I think it's going to be painful. And I think now we're looking to just get safe and build for next season to try and get ready. That would be my optimistic view on things, that we can start moving upwards, but it's going to be next season before we get to where we want to be.
Right. Well, thank you so much for starting us off tonight, mate. Really appreciate it. Thank you for jumping on. I'll catch up with you soon.
Cheers, mate. And cheers to you and 10K. It's inevitable.
Thank you, mate. 5 away. I've just had a little check. I like that top you've got on there, by the way. What's that?
OK Jerseys, channel sponsor. Just to give it a little plug. Very nice. A Baggio 94 Italy shirt, which is close to my heart. So, yeah.
Beautiful. Looks well, mate. Link in the description. Code BLADES for your 8% discount at checkout. Nice one. Thank you, pal. Much appreciated. Thanks, catch up with you soon. Cheers, mate. Lewis, top man. Always. To be honest, it's a little bit worrying when a founding member of the Positive Blades can't really pull a positive out of today. Obviously, the bigger picture, he thinks we'll be okay. As do I. I think we'll be all right. In terms of the whole season, that's another question, isn't it? But right, next up, I'm going to go straight into another caller, waiting very patiently again. It's another Platinum Rambler. It is Dave Morwood. How's it going? Oh, look at this. He's off screen again. How are you going, Dave?
I'm good. You?
Yes, I'm good, mate. Thank you. Let me see if I can get you a little bit more central in my line. Oh, there he goes. There he is. Look at that. Beautiful.
Yeah.
How are you, mate? You okay?
Well, we weren't expecting that, were we?
We weren't expecting that. And that's not to say we're expecting to roll them over, because I wouldn't say that either. But we weren't expecting us to be so poor, I don't think, were we?
Yeah. But on a positive note, Jim, what did you do last night for Halloween?
Went out trick-or-treating with girls very quickly.
Yeah, forget the match.
yeah, that's right. Yeah, went out that, and I certainly didn't watch Kiefer Moore bagging 3 goals for Wrexham. So
yeah, unfortunately, I did.
Yeah, I know. What?
But first thing is to say is that Chris Wilder said after the Charlton game, didn't he? This is a bigger job than I thought it was.
It is a huge job. It's a huge job.
So we have to stay on the positive side of it. Yeah, we lost the game. The performance was dire. I mean, we couldn't pass the ball 2 yards.
We have to stay positive. The performance was dire, but
it will improve.
You are, mate. You are, and I admire it. I really do.
No doubt it will get better, but he's got a really hard job to do now to drag them players up. And I
And
think the worst one, like you said, Sidney Peck, I don't know why he was marking Carlton Morris.
I know.
At the corner.
I know. We've got a 6'4" centre half there, and he's got our 5'8" centre midfielder marking Carlton Morris. So,
and then he makes that mistake. The second game running, we conceded straight after the kickoff.
Yeah, I know. No concentration, no focus on what we're doing.
From that moment on, you sort of thought, yeah, we're not getting anything out of this game. You know, it's done with it. You could see the heads go down. And,
yeah, you could. Yeah.
You know, oh my God, it's happened again.
Even when we scored, it were like mooted celebrations from fans, weren't it? We were just like, it was like a consolation even at that point. There were enough time to get back into it, but nobody really believed we could. So, yeah, that's the situation we're at the minute. But I think the one thing that I will say is, and again, I know you're a fan of Wilder as well, David, but he's in a difficult spot for me because we could all select a team or say what he needs to do next, and we'd all disagree with each other, I'm sure, in some form or fashion, because there's no obvious solution to this. There's no easy way out of it. So if you're Chris Wilder tonight and you're preparing for Coventry game, what do you do? Who do you take out of the firing line? Like Lewis has just suggested, Tyrese Campbell needs to come out because Danny Ings is there waiting in the wings. Tyrese Campbell, he had a very good 45 minutes against Blackburn, but other than that, he's been quite poor. I know he's got 3 goals, but he's not really been anywhere near the levels that we've seen previously.
I think that's a positive idea from Lewis. That
yeah, I think so. But do you make any other changes? Is Ogbenny, for example, is he the best of a bad bunch that we've got on the right?
That's what I couldn't understand watching the game. He'd got Chris a tissue on the bench, hadn't he? And I don't think Ogbenny did well. That one cross that Campbell put over the bar, but apart from that, he seemed to just kick the ball to their players.
I know.
Like run into a wall, no pace, trying to get past somebody. And this Chris guy is supposed to be lightning.
Yeah.
And I just didn't understand why, when he was making the changes, he kept Ogbenny on until.
I know. But who have we got instead of? That's the thing, I suppose. If you're going to play this way, which Chris seems to be wedded to doing, then we haven't got the personnel to improve ourselves from the bench or anything like that. I think, a lot of us have been crying out for 3 at the back, and Burrows and or McCallum being pushed up to a wing back position. Maybe consider Sariki as the right wing back. Have you 2 in the middle. Have Callum O'Hare and 2 up top.
Yeah, I mean Callum O'Hare's like, for me, he was absolutely top class. He tried everything, like you saw him running to chase things, trying to close the goalkeeper down when they were passing back to him.
I think he's really levelled up Callum O'Hare. I think we always rightly credit Mr. V with backing him from day one, because he has been his number 1 supporter. And I always try and give credit where it's due. He's always said he'll come good. But I were losing faith with him last season. Until the back end of last season, I think he flattered to deceive a little bit, and I don't think he could put everything together. And I think Wilder's touched on that. But this season, he's been our standout player this season, in a very poor season, admittedly. But he's the only one that looks like a player that we can be proud of wearing the shirt at the minute, to me. And that's a very harsh statement, but we want to see players running round and committed and giving everything.
Like, Chris has said, I've had words with Callum about what we want him to do better, where we want him to be, and so is Alan Nill, and so is the coaching staff.
That's right.
So they're getting that right, but everything else just seems. It seems as though like there's no fight in the team. There's no pride in the team.
I agree.
They are fighting.
That's the disappointing thing, isn't it?
Yeah, there's nothing. Nothing's working for them. Whatever they try, it just. They try a pass and it goes to somebody a yard to the left who's in a different shirt.
Does it need big changes in January then, Dave, would you say?
Yeah, I think so, definitely. But are we going to do it? That's the...
I think we will. I think he'll make big changes because you can't be happy with your lot at minute, can you? We can't be happy with what's happening.
We know, like we said, we're a team that someone would like to come and play for. But if we're down in the bottom 3...
Yeah, that's right.
I'd say,
what's the appeal?
We need somebody on the left. Right, go to West Brom and get Mikey Johnson off them. He's going to probably look at us and go, no.
Yeah, why would I leave West Brom for a relegation battle?
Exactly. Yeah. And it's going to have a big job to find these players. I just hope they don't go down the AI mode, and
oh no, I don't. I'm hoping those days are past us, but we'll soon find out, won't we?
But he's got a big job on. About, like I said, I'm positive he's going to get us out of it.
Yeah, me too.
But there's going to be lots of upsets on the way.
More of this, you reckon? More of this?
Yeah. Yeah. They need to put a run together to get the confidence back. That's the main thing.
Yeah, I
they
agree.
Need to get 3 wins and then take it from there. We'll see where we are at Christmas and then see what happens in January.
Yeah, assess it from there, yeah. I think that's sensible.
I do think that some of these players that aren't doing it, like Benny, who's not really done it, Louis Barry, Binden's not been seen.
No. I mean, well, Louis Barry and Tom Cannon, he said he's left them out today. Yeah. He's chosen to leave them out, which for me, certainly with Barry, who's not our player, he'll be gone. He'll be gone in January, which I think we all assumed anyway. But it's not good for Tom Cannon either.
Then Villa aren't going to want to leave him there.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, I agree.
And I was a big admirer of Louis Barry. I wanted him in.
Yeah, me too, mate. Me too. Sometimes you hold your hands up, don't you?
Louis Barry on one side and Ben Doak on the other side.
Oh, yeah.
And we've nice, but, but it's the Blades way, isn't it? We get down, we get angry, frustrated.
Yeah, we do.
But, I mean, I keep saying we'll always come back. I mean, I won't because I can't get back.
But you'll be there in spirit, won't you? Whatever happens, mate. That's the thing.
I'm there in spirit, mate. And after that performance, I might be having some spirit.
Well, good luck with that, and I'll see you at morning if that's the case. All right, pal. Thank you for joining us, mate.
Don't worry, Jimmy. Cheers.
See you soon. Ta-da, mate.
Blades, up the Ramble.
Yes, come on, mate.
Positive Blades.
Nice one. Top man. See you soon. Dave Morwood, always a top man. Thank you for joining us, mate. Let me jump into some more comments. I've got a couple of callers waiting, but I'm just going to jump into some more comments so I don't get too far behind. Wish me luck with that. Alessandro says, our own worst enemy, poor defending, gave away... yes, this is where I'm up to. Nice one. Poor defending gave away the set piece. Poor marking conceded from it. Poor concentration and decision making led to the second. Confidence is a hard thing to fix, but Jesus, Blades. S17 Blade says, serious question, Jim. Who in the current squad comes down with us next season? Well, that sets the tone, doesn't it, really, I suppose. I expect to see Burrows, Cooper, Peck, Gus, and possibly Callum O'Hare to all leave. Firstly, I don't think we get relegated. I think we stay in the Championship, and I think we still lose Gus. If we lost any of the others, look, they're good players. I don't mean, I think we'll keep Callum O'Hare if we stay in the Championship and don't get relegated. I don't think we'll get relegated. I think they'll stay, if I'm honest. Maybe Peck goes, but I think Gus is the only one to go, either January or in the summer. If we were to get relegated to League One, then we'd need a complete overhaul of the squad because they're on big money and we want to offload some. Rather than them want to leave, we'd want to offload some of them. Ben says, recruitment team going to have to earn their crust in January. if we want any hope of staying up now. Awful, awful performance. It were awful. It were awful, mate. Sam says, anyone thinking we can get playoffs, in my opinion, is delusional. We're genuinely in a relegation battle. Losing to Derby at home is diabolical. I haven't seen anybody saying it since the result today, Sam. You know, it's looking further and further away into it. I certainly don't think that'll be the case. On January, realistically, who would come to us on loan? Says S17. Prem clubs aren't going to want to send players to us in our current state. I disagree. I think loan players will see it as an opportunity for game time. There's no long-term commitment to the club. They can still get into a side, play regular games. I don't think that'll be an issue, to be honest. I think it's more, can we get any permanent signings over the line? Yes, the club still has a big name at the level, but it depends what predicament we're in, doesn't it? Julie says she meant garbage, but I don't know what in relation to. LH says, walked past Jimmy outside the lane today. Had more fans around him than one of the Gallagher brothers. That'd be ridiculous. Lil Bully says, very frustrating. We've now known for a year and a half that we need competent wingers and a right back, and we still don't have any. Change the system. Change this. You're right, Lil Bully, by the way. If you're going to play this system, you need the players to play it. We haven't got the players to play it, so change it. You know, who is a out-and-out winger that's our player in this squad? You'd probably argue Andre Brooks, maybe, even though he's come through as a centre midfielder. There are no other wingers by trade in our system that on our books as a permanent player. Barmy. Anyway, hope you girls enjoy it, pal. Thank you, Matt. They did enjoy it. One more than the other, I think, as I say. Reality check. We're in the poop, says John. No more talk of playoffs. We're in a relegation battle, pure and simple, as Hearsay once said. I'll be there for you. Bryce says, evening, Jimmy. Sorry, what an awful display today. So sad what's happened this season. Chris says, fuming spineless, but I've upgraded to Platinum Ramblers. Just think I need to know how to join WhatsApp. Thank you, mate. We will sort that out for you. Don't worry. You should have had an email that automatically comes to your email account, and there's a link into the WhatsApp group there. Red Bull gives you wings, I hope. Our worst game of the season, absolutely rubbish. Peckney's dropping his back pass was atrocious up the blades. I think Ipswich were up there with worst. I think any performance under Sayers could be considered that. It's possibly Wilder's worst performance of the season. Paul Young says, I'm here, don't worry. You know me, here to sit on the fence, as always. Sadie says, hi, Jim and the Blades. Shocked at your result today. Never expected that. Good win for us Blues today. It was 4-0, weren't it? You did really well there, Sadie. Fair play to you. You still have plenty of time to get climbing the table. Yeah, I think we'll be all right, Sadie. I think we'll be okay, but it's just so demoralising, you know, when you're expected to go well and the best you can hope for is survival. Especially with the parachute payments ending, and then you just feel like on the horizon is championship obscurity, potentially. Mark says, after making your daughters watch that, I'd be hiding the phones. Because they'll be wanting to phone Childline. Julie says, first time in 50 years, I left and 3 grandsons after their 3rd goal. Sorry, O'Hare, we missed yours. I have to confess, I must confess, I left on 92 minutes. And to some, that may be, well, you pretty much stayed till the end. I always stay till the final whistle. Always. And I didn't today. There were no chance we were scoring. Emily were freezing. That was the reason we were going, because she put the wrong coat on. But yeah, I never leave before the end, and I did. And I don't judge people that do either. And nor should anyone else. You pay your money, you make your choice. It's up to you when you go. If they were playing well and giving Julie a reason to stay, then I'm sure they would have stayed a little bit longer. So, yeah. Joe says, evening, Jim. Hope you girls enjoyed it today as much as they could. Can't defend the players anymore, but Wilder also has to take some flack. Change of system needed, and players like Peck need dropping up the Ramble. Fair. John says, can someone explain to me why Matos was brought on? No, I can't, mate. I can't. To play right back, apparently. When we've got Sariki who's fit, or allegedly fit, and not in the squad. Chef Paul says that was truly shocking. The goal should spark them into action, but the reaction was like a damp firework. Gaza says, can't wait to see his selection and formation on Tuesday. Well, I can tell you now, formation will be 4-2-3-1. I can tell you that straight off. But selection will be interesting. He's made some strong calls. Leaving Cannon and Barry out completely is a huge statement. I think that probably seals the deal for them, doesn't it? Will anybody else now be on chopping block because of that performance today? S says the problem starts with getting in loan players every season. You sell a couple of players and the loans go back. You're having to rebuild every season. Players take time to gel together. Yeah, they do, and I still don't think we've got the right players, S, either. Oh, don't, Gaza. Cov will be rubbing their hands together, says Sean. So disappointed, says James. Some big decisions today cost us. Really poor atmosphere from the off, says Chris. I agree with that, to be honest. We were very quiet today, very nervous. But Sean says the players have to lift the fans. I think there's a bit of both involved, Sean. I don't disagree with you, mate, but I think there's a bit of both involved. I think we have to do our bit as well. And collectively we didn't, me included as well. It's sometimes you just feel a bit apathetic to the situation, don't you? Gaza said, I've always said it should have been Victor Johansson we signed when he was at Rotherham. We did a bit on football therapy about Victor Johansson. Top save percentage in the league. Really, really good goalkeeper. I still don't regret signing Michael Cooper by any means, but Victor Johansson, a very good keeper. Mike says, worst performance of the season. Back to front, we were awful apart from O'Hare. Not sure what Peck needs to do to be dropped. He's been so poor all season. Wilder must take a lot of the blame too. Jimmy, do you think Cooper is carrying an injury, says Action Location? Yeah, I talked about it at the top. I know you've probably said that just after I've said it, actually. Sick of the excuses, says Keith. Change something. We create sweet FA. I think we've created more chances over the last couple of games, but we were second best today. Again, we were second best, like we were against Preston. And if you accept being second best against Derby and Preston, with all due respect to them as clubs, then you're not setting the bar high enough for our club, Sheffield United. And that doesn't mean we should expect to beat anybody, but we should expect to be going toe-to-toe with these clubs at least when we're a parachute payment team. It's just not been good enough. P&J Touring says, hi, Jimmy. If there's a plus, at least your team scored. Nice to hear your daughters going, maybe one of them, maybe a secret Leeds fan. Not a chance. Take care, pal. Loving the honest content. Up the Ramble, like and subscribe. Thank you, mate. No, to be honest, it's been drilled into them about who we do and who we don't like. And being from where we are, my wife's family are Leeds. So, she's not into them at all. She's a blade. If anybody asks her, she's a blade because she's been trained. That's the way it is. My Mrs. Ramble is not into football at all. She doesn't care for it. She loves that. I love it and I make a living from it now. And she's very keen on, the girls following it if that's what they want to do. She's not going to sort of sway them either way, but she certainly won't be telling them to follow Leeds because Daddy tells them, not Leeds. We don't like Leeds. We're happy to be the odd ones out at school and the odd ones out in the workplace where we support a team that no one else supports around here because that's our team. That's our family's team. So no, P&J. Keep your hands off. They are blades through and through. Chris says, first off, great channel, Jimmy. Up the Ramble. Now, oh, sorry about that, Chris. Thank you for the lovely compliment, but I hope was going to lead to something. I may catch up with it later. Cooper isn't commanding his box, says Jack. I agree with that. Good to meet you properly today, mate. Love the hair. Turkey's done a fine job with it. Brand says, evening, giving Maury a run for his money, I have to say. Evening, Jimmy. Some fans still don't think we're in a relegation scrap. Absolutely blind. I really fail to see what Peck brings to this side. You just know he won't be dropped. He won't be dropped, Bran. He won't be dropped. I think he does contribute. There's no doubt he contributes. And I think he's a technically gifted player. And Lewis was, sort of saying it'd be nice to have another option who we can play. But I for one, would be, I'd be happy for Peck to sit out on Tuesday completely. And we go with a combination of Tom Davis, Samari and Gyro. Because, he's very much sideways passing. He's very much slows the play down a little bit at the moment. And he made two big mistakes today, in my opinion. Certainly one huge mistake. Eric says, the mistake wasn't getting rid of Wilder before the season started because last year he proved himself to be a stubborn dinosaur who bottled it under pressure. The mistake was appointing Sayers. Wow, Eric. Going strong. Going strong. And absolutely entitled to that as an opinion. But I obviously disagree. I think the whole sacking of Wilder was a poor call. the element I agree with was if you're gonna sack Wilder, you've got to appoint somebody who you believe to be better, and there was no suggestion that Sayers was in any way better than Chris Wilder. If you'd have gone with, I don't know, Gary O'Neill or a Frank Lampard or whoever, do you know what I mean? Them sort of names who've gone, or a Mark Robbins or whoever, somebody that's got a little bit about them and been at the top end of the Championship or the bottom end of the Prem, then maybe, but Sayers, really? We tried, didn't we? We tried to back him. We tried. Dan says, well, if he's put some beef on, that's adding extra. Is that adding extra stress to his knee? Possibly is, yeah. Possibly is. I think it's more his top frame. I don't know if he's skipping leg day, but you'll be right. If he's putting more kilos on, then that'll be more pressure on his knee. Me took Root for second. Lots of players like that, not sharp enough. Yeah, I think he's. I think Me's performances have dipped slightly recently. I think that's gone under the radar because he's sort of trusted to be a steady Eddie. I don't think he's been great. Alan says Peck's useless. Paul says, was battered by Rams or by Wilder's stubbornness not to play two up top? Why don't we play 5-3-2 or 3-5-2? Cooper's not been good enough. Not shouting at defence. Peck needs a rest. He's a young lad. I think fair points. I don't think Cooper needs to shout at his defence to improve his own performances. I like to see a goalkeeper, more vocal than Cooper is, but that doesn't appear to be his character, and it served him well last season. I don't want him to change his personality. I want him to command his box, like Jack was saying. I want him to own that area. Sideways and backwards from Peck, says Sean. I agree. Sideways, sidey, says Mark. James says, I have tendinitis and it's not good. It takes years to overcome. Steve Cabba had it. Maury says, my thoughts on the game was we were slow, lazy, like a comedy sketch. I'd drop Cooper for Adam Davis, to be fair. Tango is poor. Oh, dearie me. Christopher comes back, and I'll get to the next callers when I've read this one. First off, great channel, Jimmy. Up the ramble. Now the rant. We were awful. Only O'Hare and McCallum showed us anything. Yeah, I didn't think McCallum did too badly today. Wilder in the interview, wow, he didn't chew Peck out like he did Burrows. Why didn't he chew Peck out like he did Burrows? Don't know. Some will defend it in terms of he knows how to manage certain players and he must believe that Burrows can take it and maybe Peck doesn't. Others will say he's protecting Siddy because Siddy's one of his favourites. Or you may even go as far to say as he doesn't see it because Siddy is one of his favourites. So there'll be different perspectives on that, pal. And I can't tell you which one is right. So, next caller up. He's been waiting very patiently. You know him as Mr. Ramble on the Road. I know him as Jamie Dunpling. How's it going, pal?
Good. I can't see you.
You can't see me? Good.
No.
That's probably
I can hear you,
thing.
but I can't see you.
Okay, let me see. I'll get you to see me, mate. You talk to me about how the game went for you. What were your thoughts on it, pal?
It's there we go. I can see.
Yeah.
How many subs you on, by the way? Now, do you wanna have a check?
Sounds like you've had a check.
Well done.
We've done it, haven't we?
Well done. Well done.
We're on exactly 10,000. Look, before you go into your thoughts on the game, I'm not gonna go into a big spiel or speech about it because this will fluctuate. This will dip below again. I know it will. Just sort of at this early stage of it, but then hopefully we will claw beyond it and it will become a safe thing. I cannot tell you how much it means for 10,000 people to click subscribe to somebody talking absolute gibberish about Sheffield United and just giving an opinion. But I am so proud of what we've done with the platform. I will talk about it properly. We'll do a dedicated show about it. It might even be a part of 3 Mardy Blades. Tomorrow we'll be doing a kitchen ramble like we promised, a retro ramble because Lee Edridge originally pitched that and I said we'd do it. There are some really exciting things we've got coming up, and again, I'll save that for the show that we'll do to celebrate. But Jamie, you are, I believe, probably 3 of these subscribers. So thank you as well for your triple
I'm
support.
not undoing them this time. I'm not undoing it.
Thanks, mate. I appreciate that. Let me just refresh to see if anybody's done it, because Paul Young said he were going to do it. Oh no, 10,002. Oh, we're climbing. We're climbing. Thank you to everybody. It means so much, so much. That is a milestone I have dreamed of hitting, and that sounds very twee, but it's true. Look, I'm going to try and keep. I'm never professional, but I'm going to try and keep my head on my shoulders for this little bit. And I want to hear from you, mate. I want to hear what you thought about the game, what your concerns are, what changes you'd make, who what you're thinking, mate. How did you feel about the game today overall?
It's been a rough week, so I don't think this has helped. You might have seen what I put on.
No, I didn't.
But, yeah, let's keep private. But anyways, I think that's just summarised this season, to be honest. It's just not been a great time for the club, where we seem to be doing the same thing, where we're just not getting out of this sort of hole we're digging ourselves in. And it's really not having a good effect on anyone. I can't imagine some of the half-time team talks, how strong they've been, to say the least. But to put it lightly, I think a lot of these players will be thinking, especially someone like Tanganga, who's looking at where Millwall's gone, thinking, what have I got me sent into?
Yeah, but I mean, Japhet Tanganga, he might think that. But what has he done to get us out of the situation? Well, I don't mean that in a negative. I don't mean to be nasty to him or dig him out individually, but they're all culpable for the situation that we're in. They're all a part of the big players like Gus Amer always get sort of singled out because we all know he's better than he's allowing our club to be in the situation that we're in, whatever it might be. But there's other players. Japhet Tanganga needs to be stand up and be counted to, and he's made some errors today. I thought their number 7 had him on toast early doors today, and he struggled to cope with him all game. And I know he's not a legit right back, and he's doing a bit of a job. And I still think he's a top class defender at the level. But I think we've got a lot of players who are top class at the level. Michael Cooper is I still won't swap him. Like I might swap him for Victor Johansson for a 3-month period at minute, but I love Michael Cooper. I want him at our club. I want him to be our number 1. But then none of them are playing to the levels that we know they can. So it's frustrating more than anything. Really frustrating, mate. So
I think the issue on Tanganga, I don't think it's helped by the fact he's playing at right back.
No,
I
agree.
Is a centre half. But some of them do need to take a good look at themselves and think, what is going on? We're getting the Premier League experience without all the benefits of the Premier League. I think that's how it seems to be feeling at the minute as a fan base.
Are we matchy?
We are. Yours just is in a lot better state.
Yeah, well, I don't wear mine every day, that's why.
No, that's a very good point. Yours has still got the badge on. Mine fell off.
Yeah, it has. Yeah, you can still tell mine's a Sheffield United hoodie, whereas yours is just a Sheffield United colours, or it used to be before it turned orange.
Yours is in red, mine's in like an orange.
At least you're washing it, mate. At least you're washing it.
Yeah.
That's positive. Okay, so what do we need to do in January, mate? Because there is a big job on his hands here. Do we send all of the maybe keep Samari? I'm not sort of digging him out potentially at all because he was very good the other night as well. So maybe one or two off games don't sort of seal his fate. But what do you do with the rest of the loans? I mean, I would send them all back. But what's your opinion on Ogbeni, for example, at the moment?
I thought Ogbeni, to be fair, first 1 or 2 games, I thought he did all right. But he just, game by game, he seems to be getting slower somehow. and I understand that he lost a yard of pace, but he's struggling to beat a man. And I know they're like very good defensively. They had 8 players behind the ball at one point in the second half, which is ridiculous. But he's struggling really badly. And I'd rather see, I don't know why he's not even getting in the bench, especially with Shackleton not being in. Femi Sariki, it is a like-for-like replacement. You need someone like that to come in. If Ogbeni is struggling, and he's come out of games every single time around 60-odd minutes, and I can understand maybe he's tired or anything, but he is struggling. So we do need to get a lot better players, especially if we want to figure out what formation we're playing, because it's a hybrid at the minute of 4 and a 5, because he's dropping back a lot, but then he's getting that far forward. It's then making a 4. So if we're going 4 at the back, we need to get someone like maybe Chowdhury back, who there's been rumours, or Jimmy Dunn if we're having to pay, but he won't leave.
No.
We need experienced championship players, not fodder like we've gotten before.
Okay. Fair dues. What does he need to change the formation?
He needs to go 2 up top.
He won't though, will he?
I know some people saying we've not got the play. Look at Ryan Oney. He had a blind when he came on. He was making runs non-stop. He's quick. He's strong. He can win a header.
What's that behind you, by the way?
Oh, you'll see on next Saturday. Don't you worry.
Next Saturday?
Yeah, because we've got the next game on. You'll see. Don't worry.
What?
Yeah, don't worry.
Were I not supposed to see that?
Oh no, we'll leave it to the refs.
Right. Okay. Right. Don't understand what you're doing. It's really concerning. But
don't worry.
Right. Okay. On that slightly cryptic note, anything else you want to add to the pot, pal? Or I'll let you go.
I said it when Wilder got sacked. League One, here we come, baby.
No way. Are you kidding?
A bit, but I'm terrified.
Have you written off playoffs completely?
If I've not, I'm not far off at all. If we get to international break and we are still in the relegation zone, if we're 21st, it's back on. If we're 22nd and below, it's off. It's off.
I love that.
We'll leave it at that.
Nice one. Jamie Dumpling, top man, thank you for your contributions to this channel. You are a big part in helping us get to 10K. And yeah, absolutely love it, mate. So I will catch up with you soon. All right, pal.
A bit.
Cheers, mate. See you in a bit. What a guy. Jamie Dumpling. Big cult hero on the Ramble. I said that the other night, and Lee Edridge thought I'd said something else. Cult hero on the Blades Ramble. He's got his own little fan base, which I love. Yeah, top. He's been a top contributor to this channel. Love Jamie Dumpling. Right, let's get back into some comments then. Thank you to everybody for being so patient with me. I'm a little bit thrown off now that I didn't know how I'd react when we hit the milestone, but it's quite humbling, to be honest. Let's have a look. Let's have a look where we left off. Ben says, "Evening, Jimmy. We looked hungover from Preston, frightened to play a forward ball, to break the line, to gamble on balls into the box. As for assists by Pekka Matos, wow." I know. Put the Blades up the Ramble, like and subscribe. Thank you, mate. Tilted. Yes. Tilted said, "O'Hare looked very good for you. I could tell there's a quality player in there somewhere too with Sidney Peck. I'm surprised Ogbenny didn't cause more of a threat. Derby's left back is dreadful. Not when he's up against Cheo Ogbenny is not. Relegation, says Alan. Forget the playoffs." Dom says, "Ogbenny is not a right wing back, he's an attacking winger." And that he's playing as an attacking winger in this system, and it's not working for him, Dom. So I agree with you. I don't think he's a right wing back either. But if we switch to a 3 at the back and go to a wing back system, it's Siriki for me. It's Femi Siriki. Eric says, "Would have been so different if when we got rid of Wilder, we'd have gone for Steve Cooper when he was available." Wasn't interested, from what I understand. Wasn't interested. Chris says, "Get off the 2 up top bandwagon. The tempo is not good enough. Players not good enough. R&D off." I don't know what the R&D off bit is. The 2 up top bandwagon is more for bodies in the box, but I agree with you on the tempo not being anywhere near good enough. We are slow. We are predictable. People can tell what we're going to be doing. The build-up is so slow. So slow. Cooler King says, "Evening, Jimmy. I have to be honest, that was a poor performance. Too many players below par. Chronic lack of confidence. Predictable tactics." Yeah. "And I'm not sure Wilder knows how to up the tempo when chasing." Yeah, I think that's a fair criticism. Tom Yates says, "We're in a relegation battle, no doubt." Mark says, "O'Hare, there's nothing other than him at the minute." Moa's Family Farm says, Reece Norrington Davis back in January. Wilder always said he trains well, as technically the last player from the 2019 era, and we need that experience even if he was a youth back then. Reece Norrington Davis was a great left back. He looked an absolute shadow of the player, and he was rightly third place last season and this season. But if he's starting to come back to anywhere near the player that we know he can be at QPR, which the reports are saying he does, I've not seen him play. So if he's coming anywhere near, then he's got to be in contention, hasn't he, to take Sam McCallum's place, because Sam McCallum is playing well as well, or okay. You know what I mean? I do think if Sam McCallum is the bar, then the bar's not high enough, and I don't mean that in a negative way, because Sam McCallum has played well recently, but one of those things. Keith says, Wilder says we look okay at the top of the pitch. He should take up, stand up. Yeah, we don't look okay at the top of the pitch. Season's not done. We are in a relegation battle, says Keith. Chris says midfield far too deep, too big a gap from the two holding to the top two. Yes, there is. Colin says, I've always said that Ogbenny plus several other players are nowhere near good enough for that squad. Yeah, I'm not saying you didn't, Col. I don't know whether that's you've mentioned that here or not. I can't honestly remember, but I know Dave the Nose straight away had red flags about it, about Ogbenny. Not that he didn't want him to work, obviously, but that he was concerned about it not working. He's Ipswich's third choice right winger, and he's on loan to what was supposed to be a promotion rival. Martin says, everyone needs to realise this is a slow burn rebuild. The club needs to focus on survival. If they don't, relegation will happen. It certainly is a slow burn rebuild. It's not happening yet, is it? It's like turning it. What is it? Milk turns quicker up, but what's the turning it? I don't know. Something like that. Anyway, King for a Day says, was Sariki playing? No, not in the squad again. I don't think he was in the squad. I don't think he was on the bench. He hasn't been recently anyway. He certainly didn't get on. Blunt Yorkshireman says, are we allowed to criticise Wilder and Peck yet? You're allowed to criticise whoever you want, pal. And you know that, and I know you're being twee, but it's I'm not sure Wilder will ever allow anybody to criticise Peck, if I'm honest. It's tricky, isn't it? It's tricky because Peck is an embodiment of what a lot of the traits that we like in a Sheffield United player in terms of a personality. But ultimately, you've got to be able to do the business on the pitch, and that is where it counts. And if his performances are dipping week in, week out, and getting lower and lower, which they seem to be a little bit, then give him a rest, give him a break. It's not. They say it's not rocket science, don't they? But it's not. It's a straightforward thing to say. Sunderland for Life says, I'm so glad we're not in the Championship anymore. Could be sitting second in the Prem by Monday night. Doing great, and fair play to you. Andrew says that was a shocking performance. We'll struggle to stay up. Wilder press was dire. Sick of listening to his dribble, I think you mean. Shizy says, utterly embarrassing. We were shocking in the Prem, embarrassing in the playoff final, and now we're a joke in the Championship. To lose a 2-0 lead was a disgrace. Today was just utter tripe. That's how I started the stream, Shizy, in that mindset. I'm thawing out a little bit, I have to say, and I thank everybody for their patience with me in allowing me to vent and get all this off my chest. But I agree that was how I came into this, and that was at 7:20 that Shizy said this. So that's how far behind on the comments I am. I'm going to go back to the old trusty, make sure everybody has at least one comment read out, and I'll skip over some. So apologies if you've already had a comment and you've continued to comment. Jimmy Civil says, Wilder is the main concern as he won't change the setup. He's great when things are good, but nowhere has he demonstrated turning tough situations around. Up the Blades, up the Ramble. A lot of people hark back to the League One start, don't they? When he first came in. I think it's over 10 years ago, isn't it? So it's way too far back. I didn't realise the time, actually. We've been going for a long time, haven't we? But it's way too far back to go for me, that. So, we slipped down the league, didn't we, in our first season of when Paul Coots got the injury in the Championship, and the following year we came back fighting and got promoted. So I would say he has achieved in in the face of disappointment. I think it's a little bit harsh to say he hasn't, Jimmy, but I think I understand the point and where it's coming from. Russ says, just here to feel better about the Leeds result. Only kidding. Top geezer and channel. Cheers, Russ. Wish Sheffield United would have gone up instead of Sunderland, though. Yeah, it would have been an easier game for you, I think. Graham says 1. Rosso says 1. Oh, is that what we were away? So thank you for those that have helped us out with this. Right, let's jump into some of the rest. Bertie Blade says Wilder needs to go, tactically clueless. We've got about 5 minutes left. I'll try and get through as many comments as I can. Matlock Blade says, left the lane early today for the first time in 35 years. The cop was understandably toxic, and it got quite depressing when combined with such a lacklustre performance. Cal aside, we showed little effort and commitment by grinding out a result, but getting to the point where the management has to start taking some accountability for these results. Square pegs in round holes again today, and this determination to stick with a lone striker when we don't have one on the books. Up the Blades, up the Ramble. More than fair. John says, conversely, I thought Ogbenny had his best game in a Blades shirt today. Actually ran at people and got some good balls in the box. Fair dues, mate. Fair dues. I think I saw one decent cross to Ty Campbell that he should have done better with. The rest of it, he just giving away possession and running to dead ends. But fair dues. Aldi says, Jimmy, told you we'd beat you, and I remember saying 3-2, but never mind. Now you're going to start winning. Thank you, Aldi. I hope you're right, pal. Congratulations on the result today. David says, got to say, Derby players stronger than our players. Hang on a sec. Stronger than our players. They bullied us. In January, you can see a lot out and a few in, but please get a striker who can hold the ball up and wingers. What's happened to Sariki? Just left out, mate. Jason says, poor weekend for us both, marching on together. Yes, it was, mate. Yes, it was a poor weekend for us both. Rai says, awful performance, pal. We're in big trouble. Can see us going down? No, surely not. Derby aren't a good side, but we made them look like Real Madrid. Tom says, I hope we don't lose O'Hare. Dino's back, says, by the way, after watching that, I'm glad to be on Ale by Cy Cranron's gig. Okay, mate. Finn says, hi, Jimmy. Unsure what Cov you'll come up against on Tuesday, whether it's another shock loss or we give you a hammering. Now players are back. Play up Sky Blues. Not looking forward to it, pal, if I'm honest. But it's a quick turnaround. And that's the other way we can look at it is, don't dwell on what's happened here. Dust yourselves down and go again. Dust yourselves off and try again. Paul says, these owners need to go. Sell up and leave. They've ruined our club. Up the Blades, up the Ramble. James said about Peck last season and Ogbenny from the first game I saw him. Add that to the list of Matos, Cannon, Ings, me, McGuinness. None are good enough and need getting rid of ASAP. McGuinness is the new Robbo. Scott says, if we're in the bottom 3 come Jan, Gus will definitely be out the door. Hilt says, hi Jimmy, do you think the vast majority of the players overachieved last season, but this season we're seeing their true levels? No, I think there's a bit of that. I think we overachieved last season. I think we're definitely underachieving this year. I think we naturally level out. I don't mean even mean in the middle of the table, but I think we're probably a playoff side in terms of squad ability. Ben says, not having a permanent senior right back for a second season shows exactly how rudderless our recruitment team has been. Ramaman says, has Campbell ever played a full game? Yes, he has. He has, but he's not fit enough, is he? He's not fit enough. Pete Blade says, Cooper 2, Tanganga 3, McGuinness 3, me 3, McCallum 3, Ogbenny 4, Peck 4, Samari 4, Brooks 1, O'Hare 5, Cam, I assume you mean Campbell, yeah, sorry. 3, Wilder 2. Sorry, Jimmy. Don't be sorry, mate. Don't be sorry. Kelvin says, worried for you, boys. Jan could be vital for you with an injection of new players. I'm worried for us too, pal. Paul says, I'm lost for words, Jimmy, pal. I really thought we would win. I'm gutted. We look a shadow of the team that stuck 6 in, 2 legs past Robbins in the playoffs. We need a clear out. It's plain to see. Up the Blades, up the Ramble. Kev says, single numbers to 10k, and I think we've hopefully still past that. We're on 10,003. Come on then. Thank you to everybody that supports the channel. Unbelievable. I've been a little bit taken aback since then, so I'll get through these comments and we'll wrap up, and then we'll be back with a proper show to talk about it. CPTD1 says, away, missed the game, seen the goals, worrying result and performance by the sound of it. Talk of playoffs must be over now. Aim is to get clear of the bottom. Think Wilder will still be wondering who we can trust. I agree. P&J Touring, thank you for the super chat. Very much appreciated. Hi again, Jimmy. This is towards your great channel. Can't afford anymore as I'm saving for a decent number 9. You don't have to give us anything. I really appreciate that, P&J. Thank you. Very much appreciated. Who else has not had a comment read? Romeo Dunn's back in the comments. I think we'll be okay. I don't think we'll get relegated if we keep Wilder next season. I think he can get us promotion next season. What's your take on that? I think we'll look at like a completely different team next season. If we're in the championship and Wilder's still here, I think we'll look completely different. Mick says, Jim, gutted by your Cannon. Gutted your boy Cannon is out. He's terrible. Showed nothing. Bit like God Wilder. Mick, are you coming for me there, Mick? Fair dues, mate. Fair dues. Jake says, Derby were putting 7 players in our half and the back line had the ball instead of driving forward Sorry, mate. Derby were putting 7 players in our half. The back line had the ball instead of driving forward. With that, we play around it for 2 minutes before going long, where they inevitably got 9 back. Poor. Yes, I agree. Tim says, so much for the Wilder wow factor. Fair. And look, I think there's some deep-rooted problems here. I still think he's the man to turn it around, but he's not. There's no magic dust, is there? Chris says, this weekend says it about ruined United. Kiefer Moore. This weekend says it about United. Kiefer Moore scored a hat-trick for Wrexham. We lose to Derby. We always sell our best players and hope you can do the same again. Crazy. Glenn the Beautiful says, Sheffield's big dogs got a draw, so not all bad news. Thanks for subscribing, Glenn. Much appreciated. Lewis with $9.99 super chat. Thank you very much, mate. Appreciate it. I'm reading 10k on the video, mate. Here's nearly a tenner for 10k, so you can have the penny when I see you up the Ramble. Fully deserved, mate. Thank you. I can't. It's yeah. Thank you, mate. Rick says, Jimmy, you're a legend. Things will get better. You're a fantastic club with a fantastic fan base. Up the Ramble, up the Blades, marching on together. Thank you, Rick. Very kind. Somebody who always jumps in and has positive things to say about us. Again, it just sort of softens that relationship. It does for me anyway. I don't have to for everybody, but it does between the two clubs. Nick says, evening, Jim. Hope the football didn't ruin your day. The worrying thing is that apathy has set in for me. It feels like we're sleepwalking. I bet this was how Luton were feeling last year up the Man Mountain. I think, is that Man Mountain? I assume so. It's not the some at Meldrew, is it? But yeah. Matt says, I can smell 10k. Ginger Smudger says, do you think the board have backed themselves into a corner with Wilder? Yeah, I do. I don't think they can sack him. They would, I suppose. They would. But anyway. Jay says, Derby have better fans as well. Come on, you Rams. Thanks, Jay. I always love people coming in with stuff like that. Rich says, congratulations, Jimmy, on the 10k from a Leeds fan. Don't take this personally, but at least your results are keeping me sane. Best non-Leeds channel. Thank you, mate. Appreciate that. Rich Todd says, everyone please smash a like. Thank you, Rich. Appreciate that. Home Funk says, Wilder's post-match interview has me on Mars. Blame, deflect. I need to listen to it properly. I heard the Football Evan one, but I don't know if that's the one that everyone's referring to. Brett is back with another £10 super chat. Ridiculous from you. Thank you, mate. £10 for 10k. Big positive for today. Fantastic achievement. Best channel to be involved with and a great community that we have. In defeat, united we stand. Jimmy Ramble is one of our own. Up all the Rambles, up the positive ones. Thank you, mate. Yeah, I'm just hugging it to myself a little bit. Carl says, awesome, well done. Thank you. Maury, well done. 10k. Paul, congratulate. Well done, Jimmy. 10k. Brilliant news on a gloomy day, says Ray. Thank you, mate. Congrats, says Debs. Thank you. Congrats, Jimmy. Great show, Jimmy. Love it. 10k. Got my lads on it tonight. Nice one, mate. Thank you. Yeah, 10k, baby. Congrats. I don't want to miss anyone's comment that's saying the congratulations, but I also don't want to be self-indulgent with it. So it's a fine line. What I will say is I can see them all. I thank you all for your comments. I'm not going to pull any more up. So thank you. Very much appreciated. Jamie Dumpling says, at least I got to go on stage at Fanzone and meet Big John. You went on the stage. Why didn't you mention that when we were on? Unbelievable. Joe says, congrats. Thank you, mate. Stephen says, doesn't smell like promotion anymore, but 10k subscribers. Glad you enjoyed taking your daughters, Jimmy. Magical stuff. Up the blades, up the ramble. Yeah, that best part of the day, to be honest. Matt says, rumour at the Watford game was something had gone off with Sariki and he would be gone in January. Don't know how true. He hasn't been involved since. Interesting. Could be. It seems quite strange that a player who was so in and around the first team is suddenly just bombed out like that. It is a strange one. John says, this upset me. We didn't even finish the Greasy Cheap Butty song in the second half. The goal finished our song. You and me both, John. I spent the morning making sure the girls knew the words for it. Sophie sang along with it first off. Emily sort of mumbled. And then in the second half, they were both up for it. They both started singing. And then after about 2 lines, before we even got to a night out in Sheffield, Carlton Morris is there putting it back at thing. Methven says, phenomenal pass from City. Why can't I do that going forward? Phil says, Peck was only ever good with Vinny by his side. Doing the work now, he's just not man enough. The rest are just slow, weak and cowardly. Wow. Glenn says, highlight were Chips at half time. Only player with any credit was O'Hare. Excuse me, I agree with that. Did Sousa and Nell make that much of a difference last season? Up the blades? I'm not sure they did. Let's have a look. I think we're just about at the end. Hutch says, Wilder is still our best chance of getting clear of this mess. Keep the faith and give him time. Absolutely no need to panic. I'm with you there. I'm with you. As you know, I am anyway. Rich says, congratulations on your 10k. Thank you. James says, Jimmy, you're a top fella. Congratulations on 10k. Well deserved. No better Blades channel on the Tinterweb. Thank you, mate. And that, I think, is about it. Tilted, what are you doing that for? Hate to remind you, but it's Coventry next game. Easy. Look out for some content with myself and Matt SB, actually, leading up to that Coventry game. We haven't officially sort of decided on a show or anything like that, but we have both said we'd like to do something together to build to that. But yeah, I'm a little bit sort of thrown off tonight. Really bad performance from Sheffield United. I'm still disappointed in how they are. Thank you for all for listening to my ramblings for so long tonight. This isn't throughout the ramble time, but it has made me feel a little bit better. I feel like I've got it out of my system a little bit. We'll be back tomorrow with 3MB. I'm going to be doing a dedicated show to hitting this incredible milestone that is 10,000 subscribers. I'll probably wait till we tick a few more over just so people can't absolutely ruin my stream with sending me below 10k then at that stage. But yeah, we've got some really exciting things planned for the channel. Really exciting. I had a call yesterday or the day before confirming a new show that I've pitched that could work. We're certainly going to give it a go. Like we always experiment with different formats, don't we? But I don't think anybody is really doing the show that I'm pitching to do in the space. Certainly not the Sheffield United space, but I always want to keep trying new things and keeping things fresh. So there's that. There's a couple of new shows that we want to test out as well as we sort of try and evolve and get better. All your shows that you enjoy will be staying as well. So thank you to everybody that's got me to this milestone. As I said, I won't sort of specifically focus on it tonight because I want to do a proper thank you to everybody, and that might not be for everybody in terms of you might not want that sort of thing, but I'm doing it anyway because I'm blown away. So thank you to everyone for your continued support. Team's rubbish at the minute, but we'll get better. And it won't be like this forever. It's peaks and troughs following Sheffield United. It's what I was talking to my girls about today. Got to get used to losing, but it makes the winning feel so much sweeter. And Chris Wilder's here, so we'll be all right, in my opinion. But for now, come on, you red and white wizards. Up the blades!